It was truly a wonderful and memorable evening filled with warmth and nostalgia. Yet even today, I continue to hold the firm belief that an Oscar represents nothing more than a sincere pat on the back from your fellow workers and colleagues in the film industry. In those remarkable days of classic Hollywood, everyone took great care to dress elegantly and formally for every important occasion. People frequently approach me and ask what it was genuinely like to experience Hollywood's legendary golden age firsthand. They usually expect dramatic stories about glamorous movie premieres, celebrated directors working behind the camera, and enchanting nights sparkling with bright lights and endless excitement. Those kinds of glittering memories do exist in my life, but they are no longer the very first ones that come to my mind when I sit back and reflect on the past. When you have lived a long life like mine, your perspective on fame, success, and what truly matters naturally begins to shift and deepen with time and wisdom. You gradually stop placing importance on box office numbers and commercial achievements. You stop counting awards and honors that once seemed so significant. You even stop remembering which particular films became the biggest successes of their time. What remains deeply etched in your heart after all these years are the people you shared those experiences with. You cherish the casual and honest conversations that happened between takes on the set, the peaceful and intimate quiet moments when no reporters or cameras were watching, and the lasting friendships that endured. Long after the final shots were filmed and the studio lights dimmed, I consider myself incredibly fortunate. Far more fortunate than I ever dared to dream. When I first stepped onto a theater stage as a shy, nervous, and inexperienced young actor many decades ago, I was blessed with the rare opportunity to work alongside extraordinary men whose names would eventually become an inseparable part of American cinematic history and culture. Audiences admired and respected them for their powerful ability to command the screen and captivate viewers completely. I admired them on an even deeper level because of the kind of honorable and genuine human beings they proved to be when the cameras stopped, rolling and everyday life resumed. Mere technical talent, by itself, never truly impressed me in a lasting or meaningful way. Hollywood was always overflowing with highly talented individuals who possessed impressive skills. Every major studio lot was home to actors who could rapidly memorize long pages of dialogue, hit every mark with precision, and skillfully move audiences to both laughter and tears. However, only a precious few among them possessed something far deeper and more valuable. That special kind of inner character, integrity, and moral strength that could never be taught in any acting class or drama school, no matter how prestigious. Some of these men carried themselves with remarkable humility and grace, even though they enjoyed tremendous worldwide fame and adoration from fans. Others consistently treated every single crew member, from the highest to the lowest, with the exact same level of genuine respect and kindness that they extended to the leading lady of any production. A select few never stopped learning and growing in their craft, even long after they had already achieved legendary status in the entertainment world. Simply, watching them work and behave taught me profound lessons that no director could ever convey through words or instructions alone. Looking back on my long journey now with clear eyes, I fully realize how each one of them played a significant role in shaping the kind of actor and man I eventually became over the years. Sometimes this positive influence came through warm and genuine friendships that developed and strengthened over time. Sometimes it happened more subtly, simply by standing quietly beside them on a busy film set and carefully observing how they approached their work with dedication, focus, and professionalism. There were indeed many truly remarkable and talented actors who graced the industry during my lifetime. Narrowing it down and choosing only 5 to speak about in detail was not an easy decision by any means. I had to leave out several other men whom I deeply respected and admired because this is not intended to be a comprehensive list. ranking the greatest careers in Hollywood history. Rather, this is a very personal selection of the men who individually and profoundly changed the way I thought about the art of acting, about true professionalism on and off the set, and about life in general. These are the actors I came to admire not simply because they achieved great fame, but because they consistently earned my sincere respect every single day through their actions, attitude, and character. And if I were given the chance to spend one more peaceful afternoon sitting around a quiet studio backlot, sharing old stories, laughter, and memories over a simple cup of coffee with these fine gentlemen, I would accept that invitation without any hesitation whatsoever. For me, those would undoubtedly be the finest and most cherished seats in all of Hollywood. Henry Fonda. If someone were to ask me today to describe my friend Henry using only one single word, I would not choose brilliant, although he was undoubtedly a brilliant performer in every sense. I would not even choose legendary, despite all the remarkable achievements he accomplished. Instead, I would choose the simple yet powerful word, dependable. That particular quality may not sound especially glamorous or flashy on the surface, but in the fast-paced and often unpredictable world of Hollywood, it stood out as one of the rarest and most valuable personal traits a man could possibly possess. Long before either of us became familiar faces known to audiences across the country, we were simply two young, ambitious, and struggling fellas trying our best to make a living in the New York theater scene. We shared small and modest apartments, worried constantly about making rent payments on time, and frequently wondered if we would manage to earn enough money to afford staying in New York for yet another month. At that time, neither of us had the slightest idea about the extraordinary success and opportunities that lay waiting for us just a few short years down the road. Success and sudden fame have a way of transforming many people in surprising and sometimes unfortunate ways. I have witnessed this happen more times than I can possibly count throughout my decades in the business. A single major hit picture can turn an unknown young actor into a widely recognized household name almost overnight. Suddenly, luxurious cars appear, much larger and expensive homes are purchased, large entourages of people start following, and almost everyone around begins agreeing with everything you say. Some actors eventually start believing that all the applause and public attention is personally directed at them rather than at the characters they portrayed on screen. Henry never fell into that common trap. No matter how famous, celebrated, and successful he became as the years passed, he remained exactly the same thoughtful, modest, and grounded Midwestern gentleman I had known since our early struggling days. You could sit casually beside him during an ordinary lunch and easily forget that he had become one of the biggest and most respected movie stars in all of America. He always preferred to listen far more attentively than to speak, and that quiet quality alone truly set him apart from many others in the industry. As an actor, Henry possessed an extraordinary and almost magical gift. He had the ability to perform in such a way that he never appeared to be acting at all when the cameras were rolling. Every single line of dialogue he delivered sounded completely natural, as if it had just come to him spontaneously in that very moment of filming. Nothing in his performances ever felt rehearsed, artificial, or forced. I had the privilege of watching him work many times, and often found myself closely studying the small, subtle details he brought to every scene. A thoughtful pause, a meaningful glance, or a quiet and gentle smile that spoke volumes. He understood on a deep level that audiences connect far more powerfully with honesty, truth, and authenticity than with loud theatrics or exaggerated emotional displays. I carried that important and valuable lesson with me throughout the entire length of my own career in motion pictures. People often assumed that because we shared such a close friendship, we must have spent most of our time discussing films, roles, and acting techniques. But the truth is, we rarely talked about our work at all. Instead, we talked about matters concerning family, enjoyable fishing trips, the broader aspects of life, and only occasionally about politics, Henry firmly believed that there should always be things in life that matter more than Hollywood itself, and I wholeheartedly agreed with his wise and balanced perspective on the matter. One aspect I admired most deeply about him was the consistent and sincere way he treated people who could offer nothing to help advance his career, including hard-working crew members, doormen, drivers, and eager young actors who were just beginning their journeys. Every one of them received the exact same level of respect, kindness, and attention from Henry without any exception. That respectful and humble behavior was never an act put on for appearances or publicity. It was simply an authentic expression of who Henry Fonda truly was as a human being. When I look back on his life and our friendship now, I do not first recall his many awards, or even his unforgettable performances in so many classic films.